God is all there is. We talked about that in the first week. And science has told us that when we look at the world, we see solid things. But if we were to have little, super sharp microscopes for eyes or whatever, we would see that it's particles, and those little particles, there are space between, and that particles from me jump to you, jump to you, jump to the chair, jump to the floor, jump across the other side of the world and back. That there's a movement, constant flowing movement going on, right? That God stuff. And that is what we are. We are not only that stuff, we are that which animates that stuff, that which gives light to that stuff, that life and light to that stuff, right? We are that. So we can't be cut off from that, right? Ernest Holmes says, we have made a riddle out of simplicity. Therefore, we have not read the sermon written in the stones, nor interpreted the light of love running through life. To return to a sane simplicity is one of the first and most important things to do. Now, if you're familiar with A Course in Miracles, it talks about insanity a lot, right? To return to a sane simplicity is one of the first and most important things to do. Suggests that this idea of complexity, this idea that things are so hard, causes us to look out on a world and on our own lives and see chaos everywhere, and that is insanity. That is insanity. And we look out and we say, nothing makes any sense. Well, of course it doesn't make any sense. It's insane. It's coming from a thought perspective that says, I'm me, and you're you, and God is God, and we don't meet. We're separate. Right? That's insane. It's just coming from a perspective, a point of view that isn't real, right? That you can't rely on. We are one. And so when we look out on the world and say, I'm one with all of this, there's love running through everybody. And some people don't recognize it right now, and they're acting in ways like they're trying to cut it off because they want to protect themselves, because they have forgotten who they are, because they deserve nothing but my forgiveness, nothing but my empathy, nothing but my love. When we look out on that world, that makes total sense, right? There's nothing confusing about that world. We are here to have a direct realization of who we are, a direct realization of the divine. And I want to say that we have that all the time. So have you wake up in bed in the morning, you're warm in bed, and you don't have to work, or you don't have to work till later, and you just think, God, this feels good. That's God. If you're married, have you ever you're just walking down the hall at work and you're like, I'm married. I am married. Somebody decided to spend the rest of their life with me. Or, I love being single so much. I love that I have kids. I love that I don't have kids, right? Oh, I love this song. I love this song. I'm going to roll down the window. I'm going to scream it out. I'm going to stop sweeping the floor and use that broom handle. I'm going to air saxophone, right? I play the piano in the sky. And it just moves you like, all by myself. And it's just so good, right? That's God. You ever see those videos online where a little baby gets glasses and sees its parents for the first time? Gets those cochlear implants and hears its mother's voice for the first time? You ever see that? I can't even talk about it, right? Do you feel it? That thing inside of you right now? That's God. I don't know who that baby is. I don't know who those parents are. I've never met them in my life. The love running through me for that family right now. Right now, I'm just talking about an imaginary family. That's God. That's the flow in us. That's it. It's not hard. It's not complex. It's not way outside of us. It's all the time. It's right here, right now. When we look at each other, when we reach out and we... Great song. Love it. That's just where you're at on your journey, and your journey is perfect. I know that because my journey is perfect. I know that because our Creator is perfect. Our Creator does not fail. Source does not fail. It is one of the things when we talk about what it does is it gives us a guarantee. God is in all things. All things. The light is always here. Love is always here. So regardless of what we're going through, we will get to the light. We will get to the love. That is always true. And you can hear, well, watch out for spiritual bypass. And yes, don't lie about your feelings, but remember that spirituality is a bypass. Because there's truth and there's untruth. And if you want to take a bunch of untruth and garbage and just throw it aside and not pay any attention to it and move forward in the light, you have certainly got my permission to do it. And when somebody says that's bypass, you can say, okay, bye. All right? Don't lie to yourself about what you're feeling, right? Be authentic with yourself. If you're having a hard time, you're having a hard time. But if you want to set that hard time aside, set it aside. And it can be that simple. Because God is simple. And that comes down to our ideas of right and wrong. There's right and wrong. Right? I know you have heard the parable of the Chinese farmer a million times, but I'm going to tell you one more time, right, about that farmer, because you hear it so often. It is such deep wisdom. The farmer and his son, they have one horse to take care of the farm, and one night the son leaves the gate open and the horse runs away, and the people in the village come and they say, oh, now you don't have a horse to help with your farm. Isn't that terrible? And the farmer says, maybe so. Who's to say? And the next day the horse comes back and it's leading 6 wild horses with it. Ho, ho, ho! Right? They say, isn't that great? Now you have more horses, you can get a bigger farm, you can sell horses for money, you're rich. Isn't that great? The farmer said, maybe so. Who's to say? And then the son is breaking in one of those wild horses and he breaks his leg. Oh, now your son can't help you with the farm. Isn't that terrible? Maybe so. Who's to say? And of course, then the warlord comes through and he's conscripting warriors to go off to battle. But the son doesn't get taken because he has a broken leg. Whoa, aren't you lucky? Isn't that great? Maybe so. Who's to say? And it's easy to hear that because it's happening to this Chinese farmer over in some other place, right? And we're talking about warlords and things that sound like storybooks. But somebody just cut you off on the freeway. Isn't that terrible? Maybe so. I mean, you want to hear I have to go to Costco today on a Sunday. Do you know how busy it's going to be? Oh. Who's to say? Maybe so. That's right. I'm going to have a great time at Costco. I am going to love it. I'm going to walk in there with a smile on my face. I am going to love everybody that I see. I'm going to have a conversation with somebody about some kind of organic chips. It's going to be great. Right? Maybe so. Yeah. So Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, he says, we are individual points in the consciousness of God. We are points where it thinks through or as us. It thinks as us. It's okay to to make effort. Of course, we want to make effort. We want to own our lives. We want to take charge, that sort of thing. But we can also let go and let God, as they say. We can get into that flow. We can hear that voice from within. And I know people will say, it's a common question, and I've asked it myself, how do you know if it's the voice of Spirit or if it's your own voice? You will know. I'll tell you that. You will know. But there's a thing called intuition, right? And you turn to intuition, you feel something, and you think, oh, I should do this. And then when you do it, you recognize, oh, now I see why I did that. Or you don't do it. You decide to not pay attention to it. And then at some point you realize, oh, I should have done that, right? I heard something telling me to take a hat when I left the house. I am now freezing. I really probably should have listened to that voice. And so you listen to that voice more and more often. And when there is, I'll just give you this as an example of flow. I may have talked to many of you about this. When I, in March of this year, sitting in my office, heard very clearly, you will go to CSL Bakersfield. Now, I had been here before. In like 2017, I came for 4 to 6 weeks or whatever. I was on the mountaintop at that point and ended up not staying, but not because I loved it here, whatever. But I was all is well. I was really in this place of enlightenment. And but this spring, I hear you will come to CSL Bakersfield. Okay, honey, I'm going to go to this center, right? I looked it up online. Yep, it's still there. Great. I'm going to go to this center on Sunday. She said, okay. I walked in the door. I sat down. I watched Reverend Gregory, and I heard, you will be the minister. I said, oh, okay. Hello? I'm not a full-time minister. I can't call myself that, but what am I standing here doing? 9 months later, right, or less. No, I guess it's 9, 10 months. I didn't do anything. I mean, I started taking classes. I started showing up at 7:30 and sweeping the walk and all this. But it wasn't, it was like, oh, to be a minister, I have to be a practitioner. Okay, I'll start taking those classes. But I was never saying to somebody, hey, get me up there. Hey, get me up there. Hey, get me up there. It just happened. Just in the flow. This summer, as I'm watering my crop of marijuana, Spirit said, you don't do this anymore. That's not your job anymore. Okay. Done. I haven't had a job since. I have a 4-year-old son. What is going to happen? I do not know. Am I afraid? Not one bit. Does my wife love it? Not that much. We can rely. We can rely on Spirit. When that voice comes within you and you know that voice is speaking to you, follow that voice. I guarantee you, all is well. All will be well. And you can walk as all is well and breathe easy knowing all is well. And just let it become. Just let it unfold in front of you. And it is like you're living in magic. And it's not magic. It's life. It's love. It's God. It's who you are.